right, kindergarten, so I'm back so we can go over our lesson in our Bible book, our lesson on chapter 14, all right, which is this page. Stop, and then it has the Bible words at the bottom. All right, so let's look at, we're going to go over each picture, and we're going to talk about each picture and see what's going on. So remember the lesson that we've learned about is how Jesus prays in the garden, and he talked about temptation. So Jesus knows when we are tempted to do wrong. It happens to all of us because all people are sinners. So remember when Jesus was tempted, what did he do? He stopped and he prayed. So we have to remember that as well. Remember that when we are tempted, Jesus tells us to stop and pray. So we can have strength to stop and pray and say no to temptation. All right. So let's look at the first picture. We're going to start here. We're going to do this one first, and then we'll go to this one. Okay? All right. So it says, Eliza's dad said, "Put away your books, please." What will Eliza do? So Eliza has the opportunity to do the right thing or do the wrong thing. So she could be tempted to do the wrong thing, right? So what is something that Eliza can do to remember what Jesus taught us? She can stop and pray and ask God to help her, right? Because she doesn't look like she's very happy there. She looks pretty upset. All right, let's look at the next picture with the two boys playing with the ball. Connor said bad words to Ethan. What will Ethan do? So when someone says something that's not nice to you, sometimes it makes you want to say something not nice to them, right? Because it makes you feel upset and angry. But we have to remember to, again, stop and pray, right? So that we will not be tempted to do the wrong thing. But we have the opportunity to do the right thing and to do what Jesus would do. That's another thing I want to teach you guys this week. I want to teach you the words or the letters WWJD. What would Jesus do? So that's a good way for us to remember. Sometimes when we're upset, when we're not happy, when something's going on, we want to act the way that we want to act. We want to respond the way we want to respond. But we have to think, what would Jesus do? What's the right thing to do? What would Jesus do? That helps us to know what we should do. So those letters are so important, and hopefully when we get back to school, we can make some kind of bracelet or some kind of wristband that will have those letters so we can keep them in our mind and we can remember them when we see them, to remember, what would Jesus do? That's what I should do. All right, let's keep looking at this page. So let's look at the bottom one. The bottom one with the two boys right here. All right, it says, Aiden wants to play with Mason's truck. What will Aiden do? So Aiden looks kind of sad, right? He wants to play with Mason's truck, and this happens to a lot of you in the classroom, right? You want to play with the same toys someone else has. And sometimes you make a good choice on how you're going to do that, and sometimes you make a bad choice, right? We're tempted to do something that we shouldn't do. So what can Aiden do? Think about it. He can get upset and take it. That wouldn't be right. Or he can ask, right? He can ask and say, you know what, Mason? Can I borrow your truck when you're done, please? Right? A lot of you have had to do that. But it's a way for us to think about what would we do, right? We need to remember that we can stop and pray. And we could remember, what would Jesus do? I know sometimes it's hard to think about those things when we're in that moment. But I think the stop and pray is really good for us to remember. that we can stop and we can pray and ask God to help us. Help me to do the right thing. All right, let's look at the last one right here with the girl and her mom. All right. It says, when it was time to leave for school, Ava's mom asked, "Did you brush your teeth, Ava?" But Ava had not brushed her teeth. What will Ava say? That's a tough one, right? Because she's getting ready to go to school. She doesn't want to be late to school. She wants to hurry up to school and get there on time. But at the same time, she has to be honest. And she has to tell the truth. And if she didn't brush her teeth, what should she do? She needs to remember to stop and pray. Right? Stop and pray and remember what is the right thing to do. She might lie. She might say, "Yeah, I brushed my teeth, Mom," just so that she can hurry up and go to school. And I'm sure we've all done that. Or she could say, "You know what, Mom, I didn't brush my teeth. Can I go really quick," right? "Really quick, Mom, can I just run in there and brush my teeth really quick," right? So we have an opportunity all the time, every day, to do the right thing or to do the wrong thing. And Jesus wants us to do the right thing. He knows we're going to make mistakes. He knows we're going to do the wrong thing. And when we do, what should we do? What should we do when we do the wrong thing? We should ask for forgiveness. Just like you guys ask for forgiveness when someone does something to you, right? When your friend hurts your feelings or is mean to you or does something against you, we forgive them, right? That doesn't make it okay what they've done, but we forgive them because that is what God has asked us to do. So we also have to say sorry to God and ask Him to forgive us for what we've done. And to remember to stop, right? Stop and pray and ask God to help us to do the right thing. And to remember those letters, WWJD. What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? If Jesus wouldn't do that, I shouldn't do that. If Jesus would do that, even though it's hard, I should do that, right? So that's a good way for us to keep in our minds what is right and what is wrong. And to remember that when we are tempted to do the wrong thing, to do what Jesus would do, even if it's hard. Because Jesus did that. Jesus did the hard thing for all of us. He died on the cross so that we can have our sins forgiven. So one day we can go to heaven. So we need to remember to